So our first reading is going to be done by Romy Garcia. He is his story is called How My Life Changed. He was recruited into the San Francisco chapter, and his story is in part one called Beginnings, in which there are a collection of stories, different stories of how people got recruited into the KDP. So Romy.
Hello. Hi everybody. How's everybody doing? All right. Good to see so many smiling faces today. So I'd like to begin. I had mentioned to Cindy that I was actually going to share my writing about Manong Mario, who was a member of the San Francisco KDP chapter. But so I'm going to improvise a bit and share a little bit about, because she said use perspective, right? So I'm gonna. So I do what Cindy says. So first is that prior to meeting up with KDP, I actually was initially politicized at an alternative high school and met a lot of progressive socialists, and actually the principal of that high school was a member of the Communist Party, USA. And so right after school, immediately, I came across what they call the Philippine National Day, and that is the version of the independence for the Philippines to break away historically from the colonial rule. And so what happened is that at that meeting, there were many different people that was at the school, at the PND, and at that time, I was just kind of not knowing really what to do, and this happened literally a week after I got out of high school. And so one of the things, and I'll just start here now, is that so here's the quote on my first part here. I said, I write, the KDP activist level of revolutionary commitment was astounding to me. They seemed to have the ability to attend all-night marathon meetings and then go to work the next morning. Well, I go, wow. It was difficult to picture myself going to meetings almost every day and night and not spending time socializing with my friends. I wasn't sure I could make such a commitment, since I was just a reformed gang member who had previously experienced only a little bit of politics in my last year of high school. However, the folks in the KDP assured me that joining KDP, that the work at times was exhausting, and at times the commitment was tremendous. So there were many individuals that I met at the SF chapter, and one of the ones who I would like to share briefly with is Manong Mario. So I'd like to start here. Quote, one person who remains sharp and clear in my memory is Mang Mario Hermoso. Mang or Manong signifies a respect for the older male. He had already been a member of a few years when I joined the San Francisco chapter of the KDP. When I first met him at Wilma's house, he was 77 years old. Mario was a shade less than medium height, with a compact build and shape like a thick box. You got the impression that he must have been very strong in his younger days. His eyesight was going quickly, so when he come close to address you, you see with a twinkle in his eye and a soft, gentle voice, almost a whisper. He was gracious and polite in a very Filipino way, but his hands were strong and his fingers were knotted from years and years of hard manual work. His brown skin was no longer taut against his face, but showed the many lines of a man who had aged beautifully. He was from the Visayas, Philippines, and he came to America as a young man in the late 20s. He did what most Filipinos did back then. He worked in the fields, went to the Alaskan canneries, did the kitchen work in the cities, and the like. But Mario was also very different. He was one of the few Filipinos of his generation in the United States to become a Marxist and a revolutionary. He and Mang Pablo, who also joined the KDP, were in the Communist Party of the USA in the late 1930s. Mario and I teamed up to distribute the Taliba, which is our regular bulletin about what was happening in the Philippines, and sell the Ang Katipunan newspaper, which I don't know if we have a copy of that, but that was our KDP newspaper. And we were selling those in front of St. Patrick's Church on Sunday mornings. Sometimes I would pick him up at the Vincent Hotel. Other times he'd make his way down to the church on his own. After we'd finish our, quote, propaganda assignment, end quote, we'd often go to McDonald's to grab a bite to eat. He would talk to me about many things related to philosophy, political economy, and socialism, deep issues that I was just beginning to understand. He had confidence in my ability to think, and he showed respect and patience for my opinions, even when I knew they were muddled and confused. Like many other KDP activists, I felt like I had a special relation with Mario, Mang Mario. Mario had a way of making everyone feel this way, which was important because Mario was our link to the past. He would inspire us on a regular basis. He especially used one metaphor, and I'll close with this. You know, he'd say, you may have gas and pistons and rods in your car, but all these things don't matter unless the spark plug gives off the spark. That's the KDP's role, to be the spark for change in the Filipino community, the spark to keep moving forward. Thank you.